We've been in a sermon series called Jesus Is, and we've been looking at how John describes Jesus in John chapter 1. If someone asks you who Jesus is, how would you describe him? How would you describe Jesus if you were on a plane or in an elevator or just over coffee and a friend says, who is Jesus? How would you describe him? Well, in John chapter 1, we see several different descriptions, several different titles. In our sermon series, we've been looking at 4 different titles, but there's actually 10 different ways that John describes Jesus. I want to go through those today. In verse 1, he's described as the Word. In the beginning was the Word. In verse 1, he's described as God, and the Word was God. He's also described as the light, the true light was coming into the world in verse 9. He's described as Jesus Christ in verse 17. Grace and truth come through Jesus Christ. He's described as the Lamb of God. Verse 29, behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. He's described as Rabbi in verse 38. And they said to him, Rabbi, which means teacher, where are you staying? He's also described as Messiah in verse 41. We have found the Messiah, which means Christ. He's described as the Son of God in verse 49. You are the Son of God. He's also described as the King of Israel in verse 49. You are the King of Israel. And then he's described as the Son of Man in verse 51. You see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. I've been encouraging our church to look at how Jesus is described in John chapter 1, and I would encourage you not just to look at John chapter 1, but in all of John, see the different descriptions of how John paints Jesus. And so I just want to leave you with that challenge. Read through the book of John this year and look at how John portrays Jesus in his gospel. I'll see you tomorrow.